journalist Dana Bash today really did a good thing. I mean, she still allowed JD Vance to get too much of his lies on our national airwaves. But I tell you what, we've got to admit that she really skewered him perfectly, so much so that she discombobulated the guy in such a manner that he confessed to creating stories before he realized that he had a Freudian slip and had to kind of correct for it. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side, because Dana Bash, for this one, she deserved kudos. To be clear, I chopped out a lot of his bloviating because I would not be a complicit to him misleading people, but I cut the necessary portions that showed exactly the lying, evil person that he is. Check this out, and we'll take it on the other side.
The mayor of Springfield, Ohio, Rob Rue, said, quote, all these federal politicians that have negatively spun our city, they need to know they're hurting our city. And it was their words that did it. Before Donald Trump talked about eating dogs and cats on a debate stage, it was you, Senator, who first elevated this baseless rumor. These are your constituents. So why are you putting them at risk by continuing to spread claims about Haitian immigrants, despite officials in your state saying that there's no evidence and pleading for you to stop?
Now, you ask, why have I talked about some of the things that I've been talking about? Let me just say this. My constituents have brought approximately a dozen separate concerns to me. 10 of them are verifiable and confirmable, and a couple of them I talk about because my constituents are telling me firsthand that they're seeing these things.
I have to go through several things that you just said. First of all, the Clark County Sheriff and the Ohio Department of Natural Resources reviewed 11 months of 911 calls. They only identified 2 instances of people alleging Haitians were taking geese out of parks. They found 0 evidence to substantiate those claims. Also, other evidence that you have talked about, even you've retweeted alleged evidence, are unsourced social media videos from a different city, apparently no connection to Haitians. And this is from a conservative activist who offered a $5,000 reward for such things. And then going just backly to the schools and the hospitals and so forth being overwhelmed. Nobody is disputing that the town of Springfield, Ohio needs help. But you're not just a bystander. You're the senator from Ohio. So instead of saying things that are wrong and actually causing the hospitals, the schools, the government buildings to be evacuated because of bomb threats, because of the cats and dogs thing, why not actually be constructive in helping to better integrate them into the community? Because there are a lot of employers there who say that the Haitian workers are helping fill jobs that they need desperately filled.
I want to start with something you said, which I think is frankly disgusting and is more appropriate for a Democratic propagandist than it is for an American journalist. There is nothing that I have said that has led to threats against these hospitals. These hospitals, the bomb threats and so forth, it's disgusting. The violence is disgusting. We condemn it. We condemn all violence.
So this happened after you and Trump were on the debate stage, said
Dana,
and dogs
you
were
asked,
being
you asked a question. You just accused me of inciting violence against the community when all that I've done is surface the complaints of my constituents.
Senator, it was your distraction.
Dana granted amnesty.
You were the one who started talking about eating ducks. You were the one who brought this to 60
about that, and I talked about it because you were ignoring this community. My constituents talked about it.
Have you been to Springfield?
It is my responsibility to surface their concerns when the American media
Have you been to Springfield?
I've been to Springfield probably 100 times in my life.
How about recently?
I've taken my children to get ice cream at Young's Jersey Dairy.
Have you heard recently since?
Have I been in the last 4 days?
No,
I haven't
talking
been
about
in the last 4 days, but I've still a lot of
these
people
calls
in Springfield, and they're telling me this stuff is happening. So I noticed that when you had Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, you gave them multiple choice answers to the questions that you asked, and you allowed them to answer the question.
I am, and I think that if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz were making unsubstantiated claims that had racist undertones about people eating dogs and cats, and they didn't answer the questions about that, then I would have similar interactions with them. As you know, I am very grateful that you come on the show, as I am for other Republicans. But this is something that you're hearing from constituents. I did a lot of reporting. I talked to people in Ohio over the weekend, and they're really worried about these claims. But there are other conversations that are happening, like Aiden Clark, who is an 11-year-old boy who was killed in Springfield last year. It was a car accident involving a Haitian immigrant. You said that he was murdered. His father said that's not true. It was an accident. Here's what he said to you.
Politicians, Bernie Moreno, Chip Roy, JD Vance, and Donald Trump, they have spoken my son's name and used his death for political gain. This needs to stop now. They are not allowed, nor have they ever been allowed to mention Aiden Clark from Springfield, Ohio. I will listen to them one more time to hear their apologies.
Senator, he's asking for you to apologize. Will you?
First of all, my heart goes out to the Clark family, and I don't bring their son's name up because they've clearly expressed a preference for politicians to not bring their son's name up. I wish them all the best. I can't believe what kind of a tragedy they've experienced, but I'm still going to keep on talking about what the migrants have done to Springfield, Ohio.
Just once and for all, you again started this in part by saying that, at which Donald Trump repeated on the debate stage, that, and he didn't say anything about the policies that you're talking about. He just said Haitians are eating dogs and cats. Can you affirmatively say now that that is a rumor that has no basis with evidence?
Dana, the evidence is the firsthand account of my constituents who are telling me that this happened. The American media totally ignored this stuff until Donald Trump and I started talking about cat memes. If I have to,
but it wasn't just a meme,
create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do, Dana, because you guys are completely letting Kamala Harris coast.
Or you just said that you're creating the story.
What's that, Dana?
You just said that this is a story that you created. So then the eating dogs and cats thing is not
We are
accurate.
Dana, it comes from firsthand accounts from my constituents. I say that we're creating a story, meaning we're creating the American media focusing on it.
Dana Bash did it. She had him with that Freudian slip. We created the stories because you, the media, was not carrying the stories away. We wanted you to lie about them. And since you weren't going to lie about the story, we're going to create the story, put it in there, and then you're going to have to cover it. And she caught him. She caught the Freudian slip. And you know what? From now on, we all have to remember that they created these stories. You know, I mean, suppose there's one or two or a nugget of truth to it. Doesn't matter. They created the story.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.